Yo, hope everybody's doing good. Welcome to this live stream today where we're going to be launching some creatives and we're going to be putting some creatives in the testing phase on Facebook. And I'm going to share with you guys how I approach testing on Facebook. We're going to look at 3 different ways that I like to test. One that is going to be very beginner friendly for somebody who's starting a new store, doesn't have a lot of pixel data. We're going to look at a second way, which is going to be the chat approach, if you will, using broad targeting to test creatives. And then we're going to look at a third way, which is a little bit more of a chat approach, if you will, where we're going to be tossing 10 creatives inside of a single ABO to let them test. So we're going to be looking at 3 different ways. I'm actually going to write these down just so everybody knows what we're going to be doing here, and just so we can have a little bit of something to recap on. As I do this, if you are inside of the live stream, please drop a fire emoji in the chat if you can hear me and if everything looks good, if you can see my screen, all of that fun stuff. I just want to make sure we're going good before we get started. So you guys do that. I'm going to just kind of write down the agenda here for today, and then we're going to get started. So agenda is going to be 3 different testing, 3 different Facebook ad testing styles. We're going to be looking at testing for no pixel data. We're going to be testing Chad approach 1, and we're going to do testing Chad approach DCT. Cool. So sweet. We got some fire emojis, means you guys can hear me. Let's get into it. So we're going to be doing 3 different testing styles. I have my creatives ready to go that we're going to be testing today. The creatives that we're going to be testing are right here, the ones that are not in blue yet. So today we're going to be launching 25 different creatives, and these 25 different creatives are going to each be launched in one of these testing styles. All 3 of these testing styles can be approached with a low budget, which is obviously convenient. And all 3 of these testing styles, I approach media buying in the exact same way. What does this mean? That means after I launch these, I don't touch them until a couple days have passed and they have gotten enough data to where I can make some decisions around them, if that makes sense. So that's just some things I'm gonna chuck out there, just before we get started. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So I am going to be running everything inside of my top of funnel ABO creative testing May campaign. If you guys don't have a campaign for creative testing, I like to create one for each month. You can see here we had one for April, and going back years, I have one going back for each month. These are the ones I currently have on. We're going to be media buying inside of the May one. Very first thing we're going to want to do is hit create, and we're going to be creating a brand new ABO ad set inside of this campaign. Now, let me explain to you guys how I like to name these. I like to first put in the product that we're advertising inside of this ABO. PFN stands for Pet Face Necklace. That is the product that I am going to be selling. And for anybody who is new to the channel and doesn't know what my brand is and the product that we're selling, this here is the product. It's a personalized pet face necklace. So PFN stands for Pet Face Necklace. That's how I like to start the naming convention off. And then the second part of this naming convention is going to be directly correlated to the creatives that we are testing. So with this very first style, I'm going to go ahead and copy this name here. And you can see that we have 4 different creatives that are named V25-1, V25-2, V25-3, and V25-4. I'm going to go ahead and play these creatives so everybody can see what we're going to be launching here with this very first group. So these here are going to be the first 4 creatives we're going to be launching. I'll go ahead and play them one by one, and then we'll go ahead and get them in the testing phase. Super simple. What you'll notice, these creatives all have the exact same music. The difference here is going to be in the shot placements and the copy that we're using. They're all essentially the same style, using this "don't let blank see this," and then transitioning to "or you will have to buy one for her." So what you guys will notice is all of the creatives that I test, I like to group up in different variations. So you can see we have 4 different variations here that we're going to be testing against each other. This is how I like to always recommend you approach when creative testing, is group things that you would like to test together. Variations that you would like to test against each other together. So that's the very first thing we're going to be testing. As I said, we're going to go ahead and copy the name here. And you can see I'm just going to go ahead and directly paste that in here. And I'm going to be changing this so you could see V25. And I'm just gonna leave it at V25 as broad because there's 4 of them in there that we're gonna add as ads. For now, I'm just gonna go ahead and copy now this one, and we'll put it inside of this create ad. So this is how I'm starting off the naming convention of things, just nice and simple. Inside of the ad set name here, we're gonna be putting the targeting next that we're gonna be using for this first method. As you guys can see, we're going to be doing testing for no pixel data first. This is a great approach for anybody who's just starting off a brand new store. You don't have a lot of pixel data or any pixel data at all, and you want to test some creatives. So how are we going to approach that? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in dogs, right? I'm going to write dogs here, and I'm going to explain what we're going to do here as I go forward. Yeah, let's hit continue. And I'll explain why I wrote dogs there in a second here. Let's go ahead and start setting some of these basic settings up. I like to target always website. Obviously, you want to make sure you have your pixel selected. Obviously, you want to make sure you're targeting conversion event for purchase. For this, we're leaving dynamic creative off. And we're going to set the budget. I think for this one, I'm going to set the budget at $40. I like to start my budgets anywhere from $20 to $40. That's what I would recommend. Yeah, that's what I just recommend in general. And I let those spend for a couple of days. Now, if you guys are on a lower budget, start it at 20. If you guys have a little bit more to play with, start it at 40. That's completely up to you. This is what I'm going to be starting it at. We're going to now go down here to audience controls, and we're going to hit edit. I'm going to go ahead and add Canada. Excuse me. And then I'm going to go here and click switch to original audience options. Use original audience options. And now we're going to go down here. I'm going to add an exclusion. And I'm going to exclude anybody who has visited my website in the last... Let's see. Let's do view content. We'll do view content 30 days. So the reason I'm doing this is I want this to be purely a test on the top of funnel, right? This is a top of funnel ad. I want to see how does it perform when it's hitting just cold audiences and not hitting anybody that has already visited my website. So that is why I'm excluding view content in the last 30 days. Now, if you guys don't have this, it's very easy to create. You're just going to want to go over to, and this might not actually be applicable to if you're if you're just starting off and you don't have any pixel data, if you don't have any, a lot of people going to your site yet. But you can easily create this by going over to your audiences. And then once you get to your audiences, you want to create a custom audience. You click create audience, custom audience. You click website, you click next, and then you can do all website visitors. You can do page views, you can do view content. Really, you want to just create a group of people that have visited your website, that have been on there. I chose view content, so you click view content, 30 days, 180 days, whatever you want. You name it, and it will pop up inside of this custom audience area, right? So that's how you get that if you don't have that already. Next, we're gonna go down here. I'm leaving my age 18 to 65 plus. I'm leaving this completely broad. And I'm leaving all genders also turned on. Here's now where this very first testing method / strategy is going to come into place. The whole entire premise of this very first style of testing is to use the broadest interest that, I'm trying to think of the word, encompasses or captures your target demo, right? So I'm in the pet space, the pet niche, and probably the biggest interest that I can target would be anybody who has a dog, right? So if I just look up dogs, you can see this is an absolutely massive audience, right? 92 million to 109 million different people. So if you don't have any data, the best way to approach testing, in my experience, is to use an audience that is for sure going to be hitting your target demographic in one way, shape, or form. Let's just say you're in the fitness niche and you're selling something to people who work out. What would you target? Potentially you would target fitness. Potentially you would target gym, right? So I would identify what is the biggest interest that covers your entire audience or your target demographic, and that is what I would use to target for this very first style of creative testing. So I'm going to leave mine at dogs, and I'm going to leave everything else here the same. We're now going to go ahead and go to the ad level. And we're on the ad level, going to click on manual upload. We're going to switch to single image or video. I'm going to turn off multi-advertiser ads. And I'm going to go here to add creative, and I'm going to hit add media, add video, upload. I'm going to navigate to my creative folder. Where I have my creatives. Oops, not there. Finished creatives, Facebook video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of the creatives I'm going to be testing here today, and I'm going to upload them all at once, just because that's easier. You can select all of them at the same time. I hold shift and I click down all the bottom. You can see I selected all of the creatives, and then we're going to go ahead and hit open, and it is now going to essentially upload all of the creatives that we're going to be testing today in general onto Facebook. So while this is uploading, let me take a look, see what we got going on inside of the comments. Can you share your scaling campaign setup after? Where am I from? Are you only streaming on YouTube? Yes, I am currently only streaming on YouTube. I can share a little bit of the scaling structure after. I do want this, however, to be a creative testing live, just to keep it relevant and on topic with the title and whoever's interested in learning that right now. I have a lot of content on both the YouTube channel as well as on Ecom Live on scaling. So if you guys want to see how I approached scaling during Black Friday, how we were able to scale to like 70K days plus during Q4 last year, there's a lot of free content that I put out on here regarding that. So hopefully that's going to be beneficial. So we're just going to wait for these to upload. It does usually take a little bit. of time. And once those are done, we're gonna hop into the next style of testing after we knock this one out. So pardon me while I wait for this to upload. Cool. While we wait for that, let's go and take a look at one of the easiest ways to scale. I'll just kind of chuck this as a small gem in here while we're waiting for this to upload. One of the easiest ways to scale is to do interest testing, to take your best creatives and to do interest testing with different interests. This is a strategy that is old as Facebook itself, but it works very, very effectively when done correctly and when you have already tested, proven content in here. This here is a great example. You can see this month, this stack here did some pretty good purchases, 34 purchases, $29 cost per acquisitions, kicked some ass for us. And you can see the way I approached this was through an anime stack. Super random, super random, but it works. And all this is a stack of different interests that are targeting people potentially interested in anime. Right? And it's the same exact creatives. You can do different stacks targeting different audiences. I've historically been able to scale very well with this. If we were to look up audience and we look this up and then we look at maximum, you'll notice that I've spent over $213,000 on different audience testing, and it has performed very well for me over the course of time. Let's see what was the best one. So you could see this guy here, $25 cost per acquisitions. We spent $54,000 on this campaign. This was last September audience testing. Same exact thing, exact same stuff I'm telling you guys right now. Different interests. Look at this one, right? Dogs. That's what we're targeting right now in the ad set that we're creating for creative testing. Look at these other ones, random ones. Cuisine, foodie, master chef, credit. You know, who like dog toys, upcoming birthday. Who knew upcoming birthday would get me, $24 cost per acquisitions, 196 purchases on that. Really good. So this is a very, 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 very simple way to scale horizontally with good content that you have. There is multiple videos on this exact strategy if you guys are interested. Again, both on YouTube and on ecom.live. So those are the two spots you can find this exact strategy on. And hopefully these have all loaded by now. Beautiful. Cool. So let's go ahead and now search for this ad that we're putting in here. You can see we're starting off with this V25-1. I'm just going to go ahead and search for that ad. You can see it's right here. We're going to hit next. I'm going to keep everything here on original. And I'm going to not touch anything on optimizations. We're going to hit done. And now we're going to hop into over here on the primary text. Now, I already know what text I'm going to use. You guys are going to need to play around with identifying what primary text works for you. This is a primary text I've seen some success with, so I'm going to continue to use it. It says, "This pet face necklace has me in tears. It beautifully symbolizes the love you share with your dog. Personalize yours with your dog's picture and keep them close to your heart forever. Get a free pup ring necklace when you buy any personalized pet jewelry while supplies last." That is the offer we're currently running on our website. You can see we're giving away a free product whenever somebody adds something to the cart. They get this product here absolutely for free, $49 value. Increases the perception, the perceived value of the order, and ideally increases the conversion rate. So that is the offer we're running. That is why I'm using this copy here. As far as the headline goes, I'm going to be using this copy. I'll actually write it out here. We're going to say 33% off, ends midnight. And we're going to go ahead and put... we're going to go ahead and put a dog emoji here. Like so. So you can see 33% off ads ends midnight, put a dog emoji. The description here, I'm going to use some stars. And we're going to just add a little bit of social proof here. We're going to say, we're going to do exactly like this, rated 5 out of 5. Call to action, I'm going to go ahead and set as shop now. I'm going to turn off highlight promotion codes. And then down here on the website URL, I'm simply going to navigate to my product page, copy the URL, paste the URL. And I'm going to click on none for the add-ons, the call, whatever. I'm going to hit none on that. And this ad is now good to go. We're going to go ahead and just play this one time so everybody can see how this is going to look. Nice and simple, right? So how do we do the next step here? Next step is to go here, click on these little 3 dots and hit quickly duplicate, right? This is going to quickly duplicate with the exact same settings, the ad that we created here. And as you can guess, because we have 4 or 5 variations we're testing here, we're gonna go ahead and do, instead of -1, -2, right? I'm gonna go ahead and copy this. We're now gonna go quickly scroll, hit remove all, click add video, boom, boom, type in the new video that we're adding, hit next, hit next, hit done, and boom, now we have a second one. So what you'll notice is after you kind of set up that first template, it becomes a lot easier to set up with, or to set up. One thing that is annoying here, keep in mind your highlight, your promo codes, bullshit, if you will. I don't like it, so I just turn this off, and you kind of have to turn it off each time. But the rest of the process is pretty simple. We're gonna hit quickly duplicate again. We're gonna go hit 3 now, scroll down again, remove the old one, hit add video, boom, add it here, add, next, done. And then exact same thing, turn off the promo code. And then we're gonna go hit it again, quickly duplicate, go here, type 4, copy it, go down. We're gonna go hit add video, put it here, click it, next, done. You can see it's repetitive, but that's just the process that it goes through. Cool. So next we have the next ad group that we're gonna be doing. So you can see we just added 4 ads into this ABO. This ABO is targeting, just for a recap here, we're targeting one single interest that encompasses our entire target demographic, which for me is dogs. So that's what I have the targeting set up as. And I have my 4 ads inside of here. All of these 4 ads are identical with the same copy, just different ad creatives in there, and all going to my product page. Cool. So that is the very first style, if you will, of creative testing. This is perfect, again, just recapping, for if you do not have a lot of pixel data. If you're running a brand new store, you don't have a lot of pixel data, you're like, okay, I want to get some creatives inside of the ad account. This would be my approach into doing some initial creative testing. Sweet. So that's knocked out. I'm gonna go ahead and just cross this out, and we're gonna go ahead and now go with the testing chat approach, which I named it here, which is going to be very similar. I'm actually going to, for the sake of simplicity and time, I'm gonna go ahead and hit quickly duplicate on the ad set that we just created here. And what you'll notice is I'm going to go down here and I'm just going to change this from saying dogs to saying broad. Now there's a reason it's called the chat approach, because it is going to be completely broad. We're not going to have any targeting inside of here. And essentially we're letting Facebook and its advanced AI do absolutely all of the targeting and identifying of my target demographic. This is a better approach when you get data. So I would take approach 1, for when you don't have any data, build some data. And then as you get more data, I would switch to go broad, as you're going to see just better performance doing so. I have seen in my experience. This is all just based off of my experience. Disclaimer, not financial advice. Cool. So chat testing approach. Let's do it. Let's go ahead and get the next group of creatives. I like to, after I upload a certain group, I like to just go ahead and tag them blue. Blue for Facebook makes sense to me. And we're gonna go ahead and do this next set. Let's take a look at these next creatives here, just so everybody is on the same page as to what we are doing. And I'm going to go ahead and play these. Let's go put the music down a little bit and let's play them.
I ordered a pup ring. Look how freaking cute that is.
Do you want a custom engraved necklace with your pet's face laser engraved in it?
Customize yours in silver, gold, and rose gold. You choose.
Nice and simple. Next.
Baby, I'm
That might be really loud. Apologies for that.
Baby, I'm
Cool. So these are the three creatives we're going to be testing next with this second Chad approach, if you will. Let's go ahead and do the exact same thing where we're going to go ahead and copy. The name of this creative group. And you can see this is V24. That's what I'm going to set up inside of my, on the ad set level. Everything inside of here, I am going to leave the same, except we're going to go down and we're going to remove dogs as an interest. So you're going to see there's not any interest in here. This is going to be a completely broad targeted campaign. US, Canada, 1865 plus, all genders, broad is how I'm approaching this. I am, however, still going to be excluding people that have visited the website with or viewed content within the last 30 days. So that is the only exclusion I'm having. And we're simply going to go into here, select the ad set, or sorry, the ad, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it with the new one that we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and remove the old piece of media. We're going to go ahead and add the new piece of media. Going to hit next, next, done. And again, this is the same stuff that we just did. We're going to go ahead and unselect the code. Everything else stays the same. I know this copy works for me, so I'm leaving it. We're going to go ahead and now do the second one. So just paste that in there, change it to 2. Scroll down, remove the old one, add video, paste it in. And again, this is why I uploaded all of them at the beginning, just to make my life easier. Hit next, hit done, hit done. Also, sorry for all the dogs you hear in the background. There's people here at the house. We're gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing here for the third one. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the medium, add video, boom. And we're gonna hit the video, next, next, original, done. And we're gonna go ahead and make sure we turn off the promo code highlight. Last thing I'm gonna do, as you guys can see, we only have for this style 3 creatives. So I'll mark these as uploaded, and then I'm gonna go ahead and remove that 4th one, just because we don't have a 4th one in this batch. Perfect. So this was how to set up the second style of creative testing, which is the chat approach, which is, as you guys can see, it's broad, right? So let's go ahead and do the next style, right? This is going to be very similar to this chat approach, except we're going to be using DCTs for this third approach. And this third approach, we're going to be doing very specifically. I want to talk a little bit about when I use this third approach. So let's do it. What you'll notice is that I have here 10 variations of this piece of content. This 20, actually there's 18 variations of this V26, right? So there's 18 variations of this V26. That's quite a few. And when I want to test a large amount of creatives against each other, this is how I approach it. I've seen that the test is more effective in this next testing style. So again, this is the third testing style we're going to be using. This is, I'm calling the chat approach with DCTs. You can tweak this to be applicable for testing with no pixel data as well. So you'll understand as I continue to showcase it here. We're going to be grouping these in terms of creative. So you'll notice that these are 9 creatives that are all the same creative, except they have different copy. You see that? So we have 9 creatives that are identical. These are creatives that I have seen work for myself in the past. And I am simply testing different hooks on these creatives. That is why we're approaching it a slightly different way, just because there's a larger amount and I want to split test these hooks against each other. I'll go ahead and just play one of these. All of them are identical, again, just with different super simple, right? So again, all of them are the same, just with different copy here. I'm not gonna play every single one of them just because you're gonna get annoyed at, it's gonna get old really quickly. So we have 9 of these that we're going to be doing in this batch, and you'll notice there's now a second style of creative here that is, again, same copies, just on a different winning ad. So I'm gonna be doing 2 separate tests here. The first one's going to be 1 through 9, and then the second one's going to be 10 through 18. Both of them have 9, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this. We're going to go ahead and duplicate this this campaign or this ad set up here. I'm going to hit quickly duplicate. I'm going to go change the name now to 26, and I'm going to do 1 through 9. And we're going to go ahead and at the end here write DCT. This is going to let me know that this is a dynamic creative test. And you can see right here, we have dynamic creative. It's currently turned off as it was on the other ones, but we're going to be simply flipping it on right here. You're going to see it's going to say too many ads in this ad set, blah, blah, blah. Hit continue. You're going to see it's going to consolidate them like that. And we're going to go ahead and just go through this. Everything else is staying the same. So absolutely everything else stays the same. Budget stays the same. Targeting, as I mentioned, this is the chat approach. So we're just leaving it broad. We're going to hop into now the ad level. And again, I'm going to title this the same thing. We're going to go 26, 1 through 9. And we're going to go down here now, remove the old ad, click select video. And I'm going to go ahead and paste this into here. And we're going to go ahead and select 9 of these guys. And I know which 9 to select simply because I can tell that these are all the same video with different texts. And I can tell that these are all the same video with different texts. So I'm selecting 9. I'm going to hit continue. You can put up to 10 into these DCTs. And I am going to be leaving the copy, the primary text the same. I'm going to be leaving the headline the same. With DCTs, you can have multiple primary text and multiple headlines, and it will split test these for you. So if you have, let's just say 5 different, I probably wouldn't put 5. I would put maybe, if I'm doing multiple, I would do 2 primary texts and 2 headlines. But again, I'm going to be using the same ones here just because I know they work and I want to keep that variable static. The dynamic variable here is going to be the creatives that we're testing. Now, if you have some weird error like this, verifying your changes or whatnot, Facebook does do that occasionally. I'm gonna show you guys kind of how I try to troubleshoot these. So let's do that, right? So the very first thing you wanna do if you're trying to troubleshoot this and it's giving you these errors, try to publish it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just try to hit publish here, see if it goes through. 9 out of 10 times it will go through, it will publish, and there won't be any more errors. So that's the first thing I'm going to go ahead and try here. Okay, and you can see one wasn't because there was an error. All right, if you keep having this error, you can go optimize creative for each person, and that error should go away. Again, this is a stupid error that you get sometimes on Facebook. It is what it is, you know, but that should fix it here. Yeah. So after that uploads successfully, we're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing for this second batch. So we just went and uploaded these 9 here using this chat approach for DCT. And we're going to go ahead and do this exact same thing now. And I'm going to show you with this, the exact same one. I'm going to show you how you can now do the same approach, but implementing and injecting an interest in there to make it applicable for testing brand new, brand new creatives on an account on a pixel that doesn't have a lot of data. And as you can guess, it's super simple to do that. You just go into the interest. You add that broad interest that encompasses your entire niche. For me, it's going to be dogs. And I'm going to share just quickly here an additional approach you can take if you want to ensure that it hits your demographics, right? You can do a stack, an interest stack here, which is now simply adding additional interests that are going to be applicable in your niche, kind of like you guys saw just a few minutes ago how we approached the anime stack. But here I'm going to go ahead and do a dog stack. I know that, let's see, I know that dog breeds works for me. You can hit suggested here and it'll show you some more. I know that dog training works for me. And if you don't know what works for you, add a bunch of them in there, right? I've seen great success with just stacking a bunch of different interests together. And yeah, that's another very valid way of testing is interest stacking. So this is an example of an interest stack that has 3 different interests in there that's going to be used for creative testing. And I'm going to go here and we're going to, instead of broad, we're going to say now this is going to be dog stack. And you can see this is a very big dog stack. We have an audience size of up to 176 million people. We're going to go now into the name here. And obviously we want to change this now to be applicable to the next set of creatives that we're testing. I'm going to be doing 10 to 18. And I'm doing this exact same change here. We're going 10 to 18. And then I'm going to remove the 9 from the previous one. We're going to go hit select videos, paste this in here, and we're now going to go ahead and select the other 9. We're going to hit that, and now they're in here. Cool. Let's go hit review and publish. And what you'll notice is we have here the 3 different styles that we were just implementing. We have the testing for no pixel data, right? Which is this guy here. That's targeting just one single interest that is in your niche, a large one that's in your niche. We have the second approach, which is the Chad approach, testing with just broad. And then we have the DCT approach that I did 2 of them with that you can see over here. We're going to go ahead and hit publish. Now let's talk about how long to run these. Let's talk about how to media buy these, and let's talk about when to kill things that don't work for you. I think that's an important topic that we should talk about. So as these get published, let's dive into it. So you have to let things learn for a few days, right? If you do not let them learn, and if you judge based off of one day, you are going to be scratching your head and screaming at your screen and wondering, why isn't anything working, right? But if you look at things on a blended approach, and when I say blended, I mean like 5 to 7 to 14 days, like that's the window you want to look at. It's going to give you a much better idea on what is working and what is not working. Why? Because your ads are going to ping pong in performance. You're going to see one day fantastic performance on one of your new creative tests. And you're going to be all like, holy shit, it's working, amazing, right? You're going to be all hyped about it. And then the next day, it's not going to get any sales. And you're going to freak out because you just spent $40 without a purchase. And then the next day, it's going to get one purchase at $40 and you're going to be freaking out because it's unprofitable. And then the third day, you're going to turn it off because you're like, ah, shit, it's not working. But, big but, something I see over and over and over is that the performance is going to show itself only on a blended level. Let's just say fourth day. If you were to have left it on, now it gets 5 purchases. Spent $40, got 5 purchases, super profitable. Now when you look at that blended level, now it looks good, right? And I can show you guys example after example of this. It's not a new thing. I think one of the, let's take a look at some examples. This guy here. Last 7 days, this is a good cost per acquisition for me. Let's look at today. Today it didn't get a single purchase. It spent $105. But I'm not going to turn it off. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to turn it off just because today it didn't perform. Yesterday, it got 5 purchases at $31 cost per acquisitions. That's profitable for me. The day before that, it got no purchases. And it spent $160. You guys following? Blended view is very, very important. This is something that took me way too long to learn. Learn from my mistakes. Focus on a blended view. That's how I would approach media buying and looking at the ads that you're media buying. Now, how long do you let them run? When do you kill them? Right? Well, we can talk about that as well. I like to, first and foremost, as I mentioned, let things run for a minimum of 5 to 7 days. At 5 to 7 days, I look back and I'm like, is it profitable? And if we look at, 7-day view here, you're going to see there's a lot of stuff in here that isn't profitable for me, right? Like, a lot of these things here are not profitable for me, but there's a reason I haven't killed these. The reason I haven't killed these yet, guys, is because they haven't spent enough money. I don't think that these have exited the learning phase yet. And you'll see that these haven't exited the learning phase yet, right? I am only going to kill things after they've spent roughly, for me, $100 per ad set, and after I do not see them heading in the right direction. If they spend $100 and they're kind of on that break even, maybe will work, maybe won't work, I'm going to let them run a little bit longer. Why? Because I've seen ads, I see that all the time, where they start to pick back up and where the blended view starts getting better and better and better. I also see that on the opposite end, where on a blended view, a winning ad is getting worse and worse and worse. So how do you approach it? When things are getting better, you leave them. You see, are they going to get better more? If things are getting worse, you see, are they continuing to get worse? If they're continuing to get worse, cut them, right? Whatever that definition for you might be. And that's going to depend on what your break-even cost per acquisition is. It's going to depend on how long it's been running. Is it heading in the right direction? All these things are very, very important. Cool. Let's take a look at some of these questions in here. Let's take a look at some questions. So how many creatives do you pump out per day? This is a great question. I look at it on a weekly perspective. We launch anywhere from 30 to 50 plus creatives a week typically. We launched today 20 some. This month, let's see how many we launched. So in May, we launched 233 creatives on Facebook. In April, we launched 165. So you can see our creative testing has actually gone up since April. We were slacking off a little bit in April. March, 150. So roughly 50-ish a week. Obviously, some weeks it's less. You can see February was pretty heavy. We did 314 creatives in February. So that hopefully that gives you a little bit of context. These creatives, are you just splicing old content? Right. So yes, splicing old content is great, but you don't just want to splice old content. You want to make sure that you are bringing in fresh content that is going to be new eye candy for your target demographic to view, right? If I'm just showing you the exact same shot over and over and over and over and over again, guess what you're going to do? You're going to develop literally an instinct. You're going to have your muscle memory on your thumb is just going to be knocking out every time you see that shot. Right? Same thing, your target demographic, if you're showing them the exact same content over and over again, and it doesn't have any variation, and it's not changing, and it's not speaking to potentially a different group of people, they're going to be scrolling when they see it. So yes, splicing up old content, that can work fine, and we still do it. You know, a lot of these creatives that we just launched here today, like this guy here, for example, this is an old piece of content. This is an old engraving style that we used to use. Our engraving style now looks a lot better. Look, that's the old one. This is the new one. Look at the detail on this new one. It's significantly better. This is a deep laser engraving. Oh shit, you can't see it. This is a deep laser engraving on this new one. Right? This here is the old one. So we're still using some shots that are like old shots of, you know, before we actually improved our product a lot, but I'm making sure that what do we do? We also include new ones. It's important. There's a question, how do you structure your team for creative testing? You go to youtube.com, you go to the YouTube channel, you go to lives, and then you click on how I structure my editing team to pump out 50 creatives a week. And that's going to answer your question. Do you have any tips to optimize conversion? I have a lot of add to carts that don't go to checkout in a fashion niche. Love from the Netherlands. Yeah, dude. So conversion is going to be very much based on, do people believe it's worth spending their money on your product and what you have to sell? Right? Now, how can you increase that value, that perceived value that customer might have? There's multiple ways you can approach it. Run a better offer, right? What happens if now in the fashion niche, you give away a free product in every order? You say, hey, I'm gonna give you a free pearl necklace in every single order. Well, now the perceived value potentially goes up and more people add to cart and buy. What happens if you're running a massive deal on your site and you're telling everybody, go buy the product, this deal is about to end? More people go and buy the product because you're creating urgency around it. So to answer your question of how can you improve and optimize conversions, increase your perceived value. Increase the perceived value that people are getting. Look at this. Improve your product images. Make your product more attractive. Show your product in a higher light. Elevate it, right? If you can elevate the perception of your product, what's going to happen? You elevate the perceived value. What's going to happen? Somebody's going to see it and be like, wow, this looks expensive. Okay, it's worth 50 bucks. Let me add it to cart, buy. You see what I'm saying? So those are that would be like the core. Again, I keep forgetting when I share something on my screen and I flip this. Those would be the core things that I would be focusing on. To summarize it, offer and perceived value through how you present your brand, the images you use, how you demonstrate it, right? These would be the things I would be working on if I were you to increase your conversions. Can you answer the question I asked earlier about how you started? I'm quite curious. Let me take a look. How did you start off drop shipping with Puppering, or did you start from the ground up with manufacturing? Yeah, I mean, this is there. I did a video, also another live. If you take a look at my e-com failures and lessons learned over the years, that will go into more depth on like the different business models and whatnot that I've been through. But yes, I did start off. I was drop shipping. I started drop shipping 2017, 18. And then I did that for a couple of years, bounced between a bunch of different business models, and ended up starting Puppering with a business partner. And that's the project I've been working on since. That's hopefully it's a good enough summary for you there. Any difference between quickly duplicating and duplicate? I always just duplicate. Yeah, so the difference is quickly duplicate is just quicker. That's literally it. It's just a quicker way to do it. A few things I want to mention here. If you launch creatives, double check to make sure that they're turned on. You see the ones we just launched? Delivery error, delivery error, delivery error, and they're flipped off. Again, Facebook's on some bullshit. It's annoying. It's definitely hitting a lot of different people, and it's very, 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 very frustrating. Double check to make sure your stuff's running. If it's not running, if it gives you these errors, after you publish it, you select it, you go here to edit, and you hit turn on. Crazy. You hit turn on again, and now it works, right? It's stupid, but a little tip I want to chuck at you guys, so you double check it. All right, let's see if there's any other questions. Feel free to ask. I do not want to make this too much longer. We're already going for about 50 minutes. If you guys want to connect more with me, you can hop into the Discord group. I hang out here a bunch. I also like to deep work at night inside the live chat. So if you guys want to just hang out, deep work, talk about e-commerce, you're welcome to hop in there. And then if you are interested in the other content that I have to offer, obviously YouTube channel is a great spot. I have a bunch of content there, a bunch of lives there. And then I am building a platform called Ecom Live. This is ideally going to be a YouTube, but specifically for e-commerce. If you're interested in that, you can check it out. It's still very early beta, a bunch of bugs still, but work in progress, and it's pretty cool. You know, full functional video streaming software with different content that I've been creating in the e-commerce space. So if any of that interests you guys, feel free to check it out. I'm going to take a look at, let's see if there's any other questions, and then I'm going to call this good. Does Parth mainly focus on operations while you focus on content? Yes, you got it. My business partner Parth focuses on the operations side of things. He handles all of the basically everything else except the marketing. I'm fully focused on the marketing side of things. He focuses on managing all of our teams. So customer support team, fulfillment team, all of those departments, new product development. He's also very involved with email, SMS. So he handles a lot of that stuff. I handle all of our marketing efforts. Judging your creative, sometimes the spend goes to one creative. Yeah, so in terms of, you know, where spend goes, guys, this is another huge thing to keep in mind. Huge. Out of all the creatives that you guys test, out of all of them, let's just say you test 100 creatives, less than 5% of those are likely to actually work. What does that mean? That means you're going to be spending a lot of money testing, and you're going to only actually have a very small amount of creatives that worked. The creatives that we used to scale in Q4, so like December. So December we did, here, let's look at context. December we did 894,000. Check this out. In December, we spent 356,000. And I want you to take a look at where this spend went. We spent 69,000 on this guy here. Let's just kind of boil it down a little bit. Let's go down here. Let's click on results. You guys, this is going to be a big tie for you guys. Let's watch the creative that we spent basically all. Did anybody make the connection? I hope somebody that's been here in this chat made the connection. But this is now what we are testing and what we just launched here today, right? All these new variation tests, they're based off of a winning piece of content. This piece of content right here spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. This was probably the creative we spent the most amount of money on. When you find a winning piece of content that can be scaled, you can scale it. Like, you can scale that shit, but it's very difficult to find that. So the premise here and the lesson here is test more. Test everything you can. Don't be afraid to test, and don't be afraid to fail at your tests, and don't be afraid to be like, damn, this creative didn't work, because that is what is required in order to find the ones that do work and the ones that you can put more spend on. We had to test thousands of creatives to find that one there that we were able to put a lot of spend on during Q4. So that's the lesson I want to leave you guys with. Don't be afraid to test. Don't be afraid to fail. It's required, right? Tough times make tough people. They teach you valuable lessons. You typically are only going to learn through struggle. That's what I have for you guys. Hopefully this was beneficial. And you guys have a good rest of your Thursday. I will catch you later. Take it easy.